session. What du'as could one use in Qunoot? And examples, please.
What dua can be used in Qunoot? Qunoot, it means the dua which is being said, whether it is Qunoot al-Witr or Qunoot al-Nawazil. It's two Qunuuts. Qunoot al-Nawazil is the Qunoot when there is a crisis. Ummah's got a crisis. Like for example, we have flood, or we have an enemy had attacked us. So the Imam of the masjid will make the supplication, and that would be at the last rak'ah of every prayer. It's not specified to Fajr or Dhuhr or Asr or Maghrib. It's all the prayers. So after the ruku', he would start making, after Sami Allah Rabbana wa lakal hamd, he would raise up his hands and he would make the dua, which is not the dua of the witr, Allahumma hdini fi man hadayt. That's only for the witr. And also we remind those people who are followers of the madhab of Shafi'i that what they do every Fajr is not from the Sunnah, even though that this is the madhab. Because Shafi'i rahimahullah, if he used to be alive to witness Imam al-Bukhari's book and see it, then he will realize that the hadith that he depended upon, which is that hadith of Anas, the Prophet ﷺ used to make the Qunoot of al-Fajr until he had departed the dunya, until he died. This hadith is not authentic. In it there is a narrator called Abu Ja'far al-Rasi, Isa ibn Mahan. A person used to forget. And also we have that the hadith which is of Anas in Sahih Bukhari in itself, it says قَانَتَ رَسُولُ اللَّهِ شَهْرًا ثُمَّ تَرَكَ. Prophet of Allah, he made Qunoot for 1 month and then he abandoned the Qunoot. So he left the Qunoot. So there is no such thing that he made the Qunoot all his life. And to specify the Qunoot of the Fajr, that's not from the Sunnah. And moreover as well, to make Allahumma hdini fi man hadayt for other than the Qunoot of al-Witr. Allahumma hdini fi man hadayt is for the Qunoot al-Witr. As for the Qunoot al-Witr, which is, I think the question is directed to it, I would say the Qunoot al-Witr is on all Witr. It's not just in Ramadan. And it's not every Witr we make Qunoot. Sometimes we make and sometimes we don't. And the more that we don't is more than the ones we do. The more that we don't, because the Prophet ﷺ, it is not really being narrated from that every time he makes Qunoot, or most of the time he does Qunoot of the Witr, he will make dua. He does not. Every time he makes Witr, he does not make the Qunoot. 3 nights he had prayed of the Taraweeh, 23rd, 25th, 27th, none of them had any Qunoot of al-Witr. So this Qunoot is to be said, as the companions have done it, at the time of Umar al-Khattab, when Umar al-Khattab had gathered them again for this Taraweeh, because it was stopped at the time of the Prophet, also the time of Abu Bakr, because of the sake of the time of the Prophet of Allah was afraid that this Qunoot, Salat al-Witr and Salat al-Taraweeh becomes compulsory. But after the death of the Prophet of Allah, that fear is gone because the revelation had finished and completed. But at the time of Abu Bakr, it's 2.5 years, he was not able to establish the prayer in Jama'ah. He was busy in the apostasy war. What at the time of Umar, he had revived that Sunnah. And the Sunnah now, which is until today, the Ahlul Sunnah pray it, not the Rafidah. The Rafidah say this is bid'ah of Umar. But we pray it, alhamdulillah, and that is we pray it in Ramadan. And in that witr, we do the same thing. Sometimes we do Qunoot, sometimes we don't do Qunoot. And the Qunoot is in the last rak'ah, which is the odd rak'ah. And it's to be all the time, if you want to do it, before ruku', ya ikhwan, not after. After the ruku', sometimes after the 15th. So the first 15 days, okay, the sunnah is that it is before we go to ruku'. After we finish the Fatiha and the recitation of the surah, we raise up our hands. Then after that, we go Allahu Akbar, make ruku'. And that is until the 15th of Ramadan, as the companions used to do. And that is the sunnah. And we stick to the following dua. اللهم اهدني فيمن هديت وعافني فيمن عافيت وتولني فيمن توليت وبارك لي فيما أعطيت وقني شر ما قضيت إنك تقضي ولا يقضى عليك وإنه لا يذل من واليت ولا يعز من عاديت تباركت ربنا وتعاليت. You could sometimes add وصلى اللهم على سيدنا محمد. Sometimes you don't. But some of the people add things. For example, say اللهم اهدني فيمن هديت وعافني فيمن عافيت وتولني فيمن توليت وبارك لي فيما أعطيت وقني واصرف عني. He adds واصرف عني. Where is that from? Don't add words يا أخي. واصرف عني ما قد. No. وتولني فيمن توليت. اللهم اهدني فيمن هديت وعافني فيمن عافيت وتولني فيمن توليت وبارك لي فيما أعطيت وقني شر ما قضيت. Not واصرف عني. واقضي ما شر ما قضيت. إنك تقضي not بالحق إنك تقضي ولا يقضى عليك وإنه لا يذل من واليت. Now after the 15th of Ramadan, you may increase onto that dua. So you say this dua and you add. So you add whatever you want to add, as for example, oh Lord, for example, give to the Muslim the prosperity, oh Lord, save them from the coronavirus and all of that. So all of that dua will be after the 15th night of Ramadan. And you could do it after and before ruku', no problem. Before and after ruku', inshallah. But remember, dua al-Qunoot is to be short. It's not the long dua that you could hear it in some of the masajid, even in the haram. Okay, that dua is long, is not from the sunnah. The dua is supposed to be not longer than the recitation that you did in that rak'ah. So what rak'ah have you done? You did Qul Huwallahu Ahad. Maybe you added Qul A'udhu Bil-Falaq. Maybe you added Qul A'udhu Bin-Nas. So that time is with the Fatiha. That time is supposed to be for the dua, but to be longer and twice and 3 times the recitation, that's not from the sunnah. Wallahu ta'ala a'lam.